to Mrs Patnell's phonics lesson. Now today we are going to look at common exception words, and that's all the ones we've learnt so far, so phase 2, 3 and 4 common exception words. We're going to look at putting some sentences together using those common exception words as well. And we're also going to look at writing some words that come from phase 3 sounds onto our little grids here together, and we will read a couple of sentences before I set you some challenges. So I think we will start with flashcards, and we will do the alphabet because we've only done it once this week. So let's work through our flashcards first. Nk, sh, j, v, w, x, z, z, qu, ch, th or the, ng, a, e, I, O, R, or, ow, oi, air, ear, but mainly yeah, oo, yeah. Yes. Some phase 2. T, p, e, g, a, Excellent flashcards today. Hopefully you're getting to know every single one of those. And now we're going to have a little sing of the alphabet song. So let's move those out of the way. I'll come closer with my alphabet as it's a little on the small side. We're going to sing together. Remember that this poster has the large capital version of each letter and also the smaller lowercase version of each letter. It's not written cursively, so apologies to my class or anybody who writes cursively, but this is what you often see it like in your reading books anyway. So after 3, let's sing our alphabet song. 1, 2, 3. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABC. Next time, won't you sing with me? Right, names and sounds. Let's go for this one with an umbrella beside it. What's its name and what's its sound? Its name, that we just sang in the song, is the letter U. Its sound is A. And what about this one? It's a yacht here in this picture, not a boat, but a yacht. What is the letter? Looks a little bit different, definitely quite different to how we write it in class, but see if you can work it out. Its name is the letter Y, and its sound is a Y. Y. Let's look at this one here with our lovely Nemo fish beside it. Name and sound of this letter. Its name is F, and its sound is F. And last of all, let's go with this beautiful looking lady here. She is a queen. Now, this one often, well, it comes with a friend. It's not on its own in any words that we write on in our language, but it comes with its friend, the letter A. and together they make the qu sound, but its name by itself is the letter Q. Okay, right then, excellent work on alphabet today. So we are going to look at common exception words now, and I'm just going to root these out of my bag over here. I am going to lay them out on the table in groups of 4, and I want you to point to the right one. I know you quite like doing it that way, so I'm going to do that first with my phase 4 common exception words. So some of these I realise are quite new to us. We've only just started looking at some of them this week. So don't worry if you can't quite get them straight away, but it is a little easier when you've got choices, okay? So I'm going to bring the camera a little closer. Can we see those if I move that? Hopefully you can see those nice and clearly. Okay, can you point, I'm not convinced actually, can you point to the one that's the common exception word that says have? Have. Here is have. It's a nice one, have, because that is just doing very little, but all the other sounds are helping you. So there is have. Let's pop this one down. I'm not convinced that that is as clear as it could be, so I'm just going to move. Okay, so I popped the camera here so you can probably see them really clearly. So have a look at this 4. Can you point to the one that says said? Said. Helping you at the beginning, helping you at the end. Said, here it is. So our A sound that we're used to is making an S sound instead. So we've got said. Right, now can you point to the word that says some? Some. Here is some. This is helping you. This is helping you. You can hear it in there, but basically these 3 together are making an sound, even though they look nothing like they should do. So very tricky one, that one. Some. Okay, let's have a look now. Can you point to the word that says little? Little. Now it's a little tricky here because there's a couple that could have the right beginning, but keep looking along the whole word. So it's not this one, because we've got a kick and cut in there, which is helping us. Here's little. Little. Little's quite nice. All it. All. It's only the et really that's not really doing anything. So little. Maybe we could do a sentence of little. What do you think? You could yell one out to the screen. My one's going to be, Mary had a little lamb. Right, let's have a look at these. Can you point to the one that says were? Were. Hear that beginning sound that's helping you. Here is were, and these 3 together are just making an sound. Were. We're used to seeing without the but it's just been a bit tricky there. Were. You think of a sentence for were. Shout one out to the screen. And I'm going to go with we were going on holiday. Next one. Oh, that's a very tricky one. Okay, can you point to the one that says come? Think about what some looked like. It rhymes with come, so it looks quite similar. Some, and then now come. Can you point to come? Here is come. It's those 3 letters together making an sound again, but there is our cut at the beginning. Come. Now can you point out the word one? So it's the word for the number 1. Very tricky, this one. Where is that? Whoa. It's not there, is it? So which one is 1? It is this one. Looks more like you'd blend it as on it, but that's not how it's said. It's 1. And then here's this one. Can you point to the one that says there, like it's over there? There. Oh, I've got my tongue poking out at the beginning, because here is there. So this is making an air sound now. The air and air. There. Can we think of a sentence for there? You could shout one out to the screen. I'm going to go with I live over there. And your next one. Can you point to the word like? Now remember, like is using that magic E, turning the it to the I sound. Like. There it is. Like. Well done. There is like. And can you point to so? So. Beginning sound helping you. The other bit making an O sound. So. And these are the last 4 of our phase 4 common exception words. Can you point to the one that says what? What. Now remember, it blends a bit like what, with the w and the h, just making a w sound together. what. Here is what. There it is. Right, so they've got 3 left of these. Can you point to the one that says when? There is when. Just that w and together, just making the w, n. There we go. When. And out of these two, which one is out? Here is out. Remember I told you that when you move into year 1 and you do phase 5 phonics, you will recognise this as an ow sound, and then out won't look so tricky then. But at the moment we don't know that as an ow sound, and that's why it's still tricking us. Out. So this one must be, call it out to the camera, helping you, making an oo sound, do. Let's think of a sentence. Very good. If you thought of one, I'm going to come up with, do you like ice cream? Right, okay, I'm going to lay out 4 of these. I won't do all of these phase 2 and phase 3s actually, because I think you'll probably get a little bit fed up. So we can tackle some more next week, or you can go through them because they will appear in your book bags as your keywords. So let's move those out the way to not confuse us. Have a look at these. Can you point to the one that says my? There is my. I'm going to move a bit quicker now because these ones you've been working on a lot longer. Can you point to the one that says to? To. There is to. Can you point to the one that says are? Are you coming to tea? Are. There is R. That's the sound we recognise as R. We just got an E on the end. One of those F's doing very little again. But you must remember to put it there when you're writing, otherwise it won't be the right word. Can you find me? Here is me. Can you find no? Here is no. Can you find you? You. The first part is helping you. Here is you. We are going quite fast here. Maybe we will get through them all. Can you find all? All. I know you've been having a go at writing this recently. So all. There is all. Can you now find, whoops. Can you find her? There is her. Can you point to, into? Into. There is into. Can you point to he? He. There is he. Can you point to be? There is be. Now take that finger and point it to she. She. There is she. Now let's go for they. They. My tongue is poking out with a helpful first sound. They. There is they. And all these last ones are sticking together. Let's go with go. Point to go. There is go. Last 4 now. Can you point to the? The. There's the, pops up so much, we really get to know the. Now can you find was? Was blends like was, there is was. Can you find I? There it is. And last one, call it out to the screen. What is this common exception word? It is we. We. What could we say? What kind of a sentence? Meaning lots of us are doing something maybe together. You could say, we are going to have pizza for tea. That seems to be one of my favourites, doesn't it? Right, okay. Right, now we're going to have a go at writing on our phoneme frames here. So we are going to look at the picture. We are going to see how many boxes are underneath, and that will be how many sounds we need to fill in, okay? Sometimes they're a little taller, these boxes, you can see it here, and that will mean that it's an ascender letter, one that stretches up taller than the others. So there's a little clue there for you as well. Let's start with this one here. So we have a picture, okay? What is this picture? It's a car. We've got how many sounds in car? 1, 2, there's a nice clue with the boxes underneath, so only 2 sounds to find in car. Robot talk car, k, R, So write that on your boards now, can you? You can just call it out for me if you want to, but it would be a nice way to get a bit of writing in again today. So car. So if I was writing that in, I would put, I would put my curly cur, and then I would put my R sound, like when I go to the doctors and show him my sore throat, my R sound. There it is, car. Give it a tick if you got it right. Right, now I am flipping it over to this one. Oh, this is a jam tart. We're just going to write tart, okay? We can tell how many sounds are in tart. How many? 3. Tart, tart. Now, can you write tart on your boards? You can pause it if you want to really think about those 3 sounds. And now I'm going to write tart in my boxes. I am going to put here the first sound that I can hear in tart. It's a T. So there's my taller box, so my ascending T. Then my middle sound in tart, T, R. There's my R sound again, and it's going to pop in there. And then my last sound in tart, it's the same one as what's at the beginning, tart. There it is, popping up on the end. It's quite pretty to look at. It's almost symmetrical. Tart. There we are, tart. Right, let's have a look at this. Is a horn, a horn. So we're looking for 1, 2, 3 sounds in horn. Can you work out what they are? Robot talk it. Or horn. Have a go at writing it on your boards. Horn. What 3 sounds do you need? Pause the video if you need some time. I'm going to write it now. Horn. My first sound, horn. What can I hear? It is a tall ascending. What comes after? Horn. Or. There's our cursive or sound, an O and a R together. Or. We're writing horn. So what's the last sound in horn? It is an N on the end. There we go. We have written horn. Perfectly done. Well done. What's on the back of horn? Oh, we have one of these. This is a fork. So we've got boxes that go a little lower here as well. This is for our descending letters. Sometimes I say this one's dipping its tail in the water. That means it's a descending letter. It's going to go, if you were writing on lined paper, it's going to go underneath the line. Okay, so we are writing fork. Robot talk, fork. What can you hear? What is the initial sounds, the one in the middle and the one on the end of fork? Fork. Fork. So what do I write first of all in my fork? It is a F. Now I'm going to do a cursive one. Remember, if you're not a cursive writer in school, you're going to find this a little strange. So do your ordinary F. I go up, I loop backwards, I go down lower, so I'd be going under the line if I had a line here now, and then I'm going to loop back through there like that, and that is my cursive F. In the middle, fork, F. Or, it's the or digraph with my O and my R. So I've got F or, for at the moment, but I want to make fork. Now, often I say on the end of a word, if it's a K sound, it will be the digraph, curly K and kicking K. But on fork, it is just one sound, and it's more likely, if that's the case, if it's not going to be the digraph K, then on the ends of words, it will then probably be the kicking K, and it is in this one. It's very rare that if it's not the digraph, would it be the curly K. Okay, very rare, meaning hardly ever. Don't know if it ever would be, to be honest, in the English language. So fork. There we are. Another word written and ticked off. My goodness, you're doing well today. Let's have a go with this one here. What's she doing? Well, she's swimming, but we just want the word swim. It's got very two close together sounds at the beginning, those two consonant sounds in swim, swim. It's making a kind of sw sound, but we don't have a sw digraph, so we've got to work out what those two sounds are. Swim, swim. We can clearly hear a s at the beginning. What's coming really close to the s? Swim. So we need a w. very tricky to write, okay? If you're having trouble with it, have a practice at the top of your board. I'm going to have a practice up here as well. So cursively, so do ignore me if you don't do cursive in your class, but we do a cursive whoosh up to begin with, and then we say to ourselves down, up, and then a little cursive arm reaching out for the next letter when you do joined up writing in year 1 and 2. So swim, ear, and then the last sound, swim, it's a sound, and you've written swim. Tick off all the ones you got right and correct the ones you didn't. Last one. Okay, and I'm going to ask you to put this one into a sentence that I want you to write for yourself at the end of the lesson. So it's not going to be my sentence, it's going to be your own one that you come up with, and I want you to write it yourself at the end of the lesson. So it's possible, because I choose your sentences quite well so they fit with all the phonic sounds you need, that you might pick one that doesn't contain every phonic sound you might quite know how to write. But I want to see you thinking for yourself about how you're going to make these sounds, and not getting in a panic if you're not quite sure about it, because it doesn't matter. You've got to do your best and really think what you can hear in those words that you need to write. Okay, so this is, of course, a paintbrush, but it just wants us to write brush underneath, okay? Brush. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 sounds, so 4 phoneme flicky fingers. What can we hear? What are those sounds if we robot talk brush? Got 2 sounds at the beginning, really close, making a brr sound, but it's not 1 sound, it's 2. Brush. It is a b and a r. Let's write those in fast. Tall for our b, and round for our ball and tickle the belly if you're doing cursive, okay? So there's our b, and then we needed a r with it to make that brr sound at the beginning of brush. So that's 2 of our sounds taken care of. We've still got 2 more to find. So we've got brr, 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 brush, brr, ah. And then on the end, I think you can clearly hear brush. It's the digraph shh. And it's giving me a lot of tall room there for my ascending on the end, okay? Brush. So I want you now to think of a sentence with the word brush in it. It could be a paintbrush, as is in our picture, or it might be the other kind of brushes, like what you brush your hair with. So it's up to you what your sentence is going to be. But I want you to say it to your adult so that you can hear yourself saying it before you write it. This is a very important thing to do. Don't try and work away silently. You'll probably miss some very important words out, more than likely common exception words, and you need to include those for your sentence to make sense. So say it out loud to yourself. Say it out loud to an adult. Count how many words, not the sounds, but how many words are in your whole sentence, so you remember to write every single word. Write it clearly with finger spaces so that when you go back you can read it back to yourself. That way, if you have forgotten anything, you will pick up on it when you're reading it back, and you'll be like, oh, silly me, I forgot this word, and then you can always write it in above. I often write it above and do a little arrow like this to say it fits in down here in the word, okay? So you have a go at doing your own sentence for that with the word brush in, and I shall look forward to seeing my class's ones on tapestry, and I'm sure your adults at home will look forward to seeing those when you show them to them at home. So that is our work today for our writing and of course our reading of common exception words. I have got another sentence as well, so if you write your sentence about brush and then you've got time and you really want to do another one, and I would really like you to, then I've got this crazy sentence for you as well. It is, my damp tent smells as bad as a mad skunk. My damp tent smells as bad as a mad skunk. Okay, so that's 2 sentences you could write today. Your own one about a brush, and my damp tent smells as bad as a mad skunk. Right, we haven't quite finished because we haven't read our own sentences, so let's do those together quickly now. Remember, if I said it over the last couple of lessons, if you can blend these words in your head and say them out as a whole word rather than the individual sounds, then start to do that. That's absolutely fabulous. Don't feel like you have to blend it out loud if you really don't need to, if you can read the words already. So you could pause this video if you're getting really good at reading these sentences and do it yourself, and then just switch it back on to hear me go through it. Okay, so by all means pause it now. Now this common exception word, capital D here, but still is our D and our O, but making an U sound. So it's our common exception word, do. Oh, there's another one. All, do all, but and R together, like in brush, making a brr sound. Digraph here. Ow, n, brr, ow, n, brown. Do all brown. T, digraph. O, ds, toads, toads. Do all brown toads. G and R together, making a grr sound, a bit like we're a tiger. Grunt, grunt, grunt. Now this word, and. Do all brown toads grunt and, what is that? G and R making grr again. Then a digraph. Grr, o, n, groan. And a bit of punctuation here. A question mark. So this sentence is a question and needs an answer. Do all brown toads grunt and groan? Well, I don't know if all brown toads grunt and groan. What do you think? Could be anything. I'm going to go over not sure when my thumb is kind of straight like this. I don't know if they grunt and groan. Doesn't seem like a very toady thing to do, to be honest. Right, sentence number 2. Look for those common exception words. Don't worry if there's any 2 syllables. We're really good at reading those now. Pause this if you want to do it by yourself, which I would love you to do. And then we're going to do it together. Common exception word, capital M, but still the common exception word my. Digraph, ch, I, mp. Very close together these sounds, mp. Ch, I, mp. Chimp. My chimp, he keeps popping up a lot lately, doesn't he? Had a 2-syllable word, but we've seen this 2-syllable word a lot. Tackle the first syllable and then the second. So first of all, single sounds, s, and, sand, which, sandwich. My chimp had a sandwich for her lunch. Full stop here. So is it a question? No, it's just a statement, this sentence. My chimp had a sandwich for her lunch. Do excuse me saying sandwich. Plus Mrs Patnell was from Essex, so sandwich for her lunch. Okay, excellent reading today. Really impressed with your work. So don't forget 2 sentences to write after this. Your one that you've created yourself about a brush. Really use your phoneme fingers to make sure you're getting all the sounds you need. Don't be put off if you don't know a sound. Do your best to think how you're going to make it. No one is going to say to you, well, that's not how you do it, because this is you thinking of your own sentence, which is really excellent stuff. Don't forget, use your punctuation, use finger spaces, otherwise you won't be able to read your work back to yourself and you won't know if you've missed out any words. It's very important to be able to read your own work back to yourself, okay? And also, you've got to write my damp tent. We haven't got to, but it'd be nice if you do. My damp tent smells as bad as a mad skunk. And I will see you all next week, in fact, now for some more phonics. Don't forget, I'm only doing 4 lessons a week now because I feel you might need that 5th lesson, that 5th time on the day 5, to have a go at going over things that might be a bit tricky. So maybe you want to go over your common exception words, just reading them in the pack, okay? Or maybe writing them, or writing a sentence using them. Maybe you're not quite getting the hang of those two consonant sounds together and you want to practice some more words. Or maybe you just want to have a go at writing some more of your own sentences, which is fantastic. Or just some reading. Magic to just do reading, so don't feel like you're having an easy day because you're having a read. You go for it. And I think you need that day 5 to just consolidate, to put all your learning together and go over those bits you're finding tricky. And I will see you again next week. Bye-bye.